All right, from the inside out with Ronnie on the spot, Chris Curtis from the Sandman. So it's been a minute because the studio, which is the toy hauler, which is the RV, is in the shop getting the refrigerator fixed for it. And so we just got this little makeshift get down here. We want to bring you something, right? We can't bring you alive or anything like that. So we're going to bring you something. Um, Actually, what I'm going to do is give you an overview of some of the stuff that's going on later on in it. And I'm going to touch down on a few issues right now. Okay, so let's go back to the bus killing of that woman who left Ukraine to escape a war, was over here just looking for a life, a better life, a good life. And some idiot piece of shit, crackhead, and it was race based. You and I both know it was, and so does anybody else who sees it. Don't say it wasn't. He killed her because she was a blonde-haired white woman, and he was laying in wait for something like that. And I hope they put the pill to him, and they do it a little bit at a time because he don't deserve nothing but a slow death. Okay, that's it. That's that. Period. But then I hear, but in the same time, and I'm really conflicted on things because I hear a lot of blacks get up and they speak out against what that dude did, man. And I'm inspired by that because you didn't used to get that, right? And then I see a lot of people get up and start to scream this George Floyd, as if George Floyd, that scumbag cop doing that to that drug addict, all right? Okay, so who was passing counterfeit bills? That scumbag cop doing that to him somehow justifies the senseless killing for innocent white people from here on out, no matter who they are or where they are, by any crackhead motherfucker that wants to do it. Bullshit. Bullshit. Right? And I hear them get up and speak. Okay, so what if I got up and they try to justify what that fucking crackhead did? What if I got up and told you, yeah, well, that cop was just putting in a new drug program. See, that drug addict, that snake oil salesman, George Floyd, right? He hasn't used drugs since that cop did that. It's the best drug program there ever was. How about that senseless and unsensitive stuff? No, I don't do that because I believe that cop was wrong. He's a scumbag for doing it. No matter who George Floyd was, he deserved to live. And there's no justification for what that crackhead scumbag did on that bus. Okay, so I'm conflicted because, but society has come a long ways because I see a lot of blacks stepping up, speaking out against it, and I'm encouraged by that. So, like I said, there's a dual fighting deal right there within me. Um, you know, I'm finally starting to see a lot of other races that are proud to be American. That's coming out now, right? And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. And that has gone further towards stamping out the last bit of any kind of racial thoughts I had. I don't care anymore. If you're an American, you're my brother, you're my sister, you're everything else to me. Period. That's all there is to it. But if you're one of these yo-yos, these fly-by-night pieces of shit, these clowns that are out there justifying all this crap in the name of what they're doing is really, they're stepping up to destroy this country. Period. They want the destruction of this country. And for what? You get on here, any of you people listening, watching, doing anything right now, you get in the comments and you tell me what communist or socialist country is better than this one. And don't tell me Denmark, because it's a little bitty country and it's mixed with capitalism. It's got some socialism, it's got capitalism mixed with it. Okay, so they're a hybrid of the two societies. However, they're small. You give me one country the size like this, or Russia, or any of those, that's a communist country, a socialist country, that is better than this one. And you can't. You can't save it. If you try, I'll just go ahead and tell you in advance, you're full of shit. Okay? So why do they want to destroy the best system going? And then I've had somebody tell me today that this Muslim woman, all right, I got a lot of Muslim friends, okay? So it isn't about Muslim, but this Muslim woman, man, they can't stand her because she got out with the Charlie Chris thing. She got up and she spoke crazy about this whole thing right there. I ain't mad at her. I think this country needs to look at the society, the area in this country, that spot on the map that keeps voting that scumbag woman in, because you have a whole community full of people that need to be just eliminated. period. They keep putting her in. All right. Those people that are in that community are out to destroy this nation, period. And you can't argue it. The facts aren't on your side. The facts are on my side with what I'm saying. You know, they killed that man. And I was watching, I did some research and watching, and he always gave the opposite view a chance to make their voice heard. And then he tore them up with facts, realism, and everything else. But he gave the opposition the chance to be heard. And I got a lot of respect for that. I think they felt threatened by him because of the youth following he had. And they seen him as an up and coming, and they snuffed that candle out. That's what they did. You know, in my opinion, the execution of the clown that they caught should be done in mandatory viewing on every TV, radio station there is. Everybody should have to see what happens when you kill a saint and an angel, because that's all that guy was. He didn't do nothing bad to nobody ever. Again, I get conflicted because I see just as many blacks standing up and speaking out on the Democrat move, and they all say it's a Democrat. And it comes down to politics. People say, oh, you politicize this, you politicize that, and screw you. There is no Democrat Party anymore. It's not what it used to be. You cannot claim that this is the party of someone like Kennedy or them back in the day. No, these guys now, this Democrat Party now is hell-bent on the destruction of the United States of America. That's just a fact. Okay, so what, Ronnie? That means you want to lock everybody up, throw away the key? No, because I'm different than that. But let me tell you something. I am big on sentencing. You do something wrong, I wouldn't care. Everybody gets 10 billion years to do. But I'm also big on rehabilitation. You can have that 10 billion years, but in 1 year, if you can prove to somebody that you can prove that you're no longer a threat, harm to society, the fabric of society, you get out. You know, I'm big on rehabilitation, but you know what? I don't believe this stuff about letting these guys commit these crimes and kicking them right back out so they can create a Mad Max Thunderdome scenario in society. I don't believe in that one bit. I believe you commit a crime, you go to prison, period, with a boot on your neck until you prove that you don't pose a threat to society. I did a lot of time in prison. I did my time. But you know what? I wasn't ready to get out 10 years ago. I wasn't that guy that didn't pose a threat to society. I posed a threat to everything, including myself. Self-destructive individual that I was. I'm not that guy no more, but I rehabilitated. I changed. I became somebody better, a better version of myself. And I put all that crap away and to waste. And then they brought me back and they let me out early. So speaking of hybrid societies, there's a hybrid answer to all of this stuff, but they won't do it. Democrats want to let everybody out so they can continue to commit crime after crime after crime before they even go to prison, right? Republicans want to lock everybody up and throw away the key where the taxpayers can't afford to give them medical treatment or anything else and never let them out. That don't work either because you just can't afford to do it, period. And it's inhumane, okay? So my thing is this. I'm kind of falling. There's a hybrid of that. You give a heavy sentence, right? Dudes go to prison, all right? These dudes that pose a threat to society, they go to prison, but you also give them a way out. And that way out, and when that door opens for going home, it's entirely up to them, all right? And you take a board that the state creates that's there. They create it, and these are like these boards now that tend to slam the door on a lot of people, make it a 3-person board that sees if somebody's ready. But you also take a board of civilians who are not a part of this system, and you make a 3-person board there, and then you take and make a 3-person board that decides if there's any kind of conflict on who gets out. And so you go before that society board of citizens, your own peers, and if all 3 of them say, yeah, you deserve parole, then next, without this other group of state-appointed board members, gets a chance to give you a hearing without knowing what they say, and they make the decision. If 2 out of 3 says you go home, you go home. But if there's a conflict and they shoot you down and say no, and you got this of your peers saying, yeah, you go home, and you got the state-appointed board saying no, then it goes to a panel to decide. And I think it can go that way, and you can end up with guys who shouldn't be on the street not being on the streets. You know, people think that, oh, yeah, well, you know what, if you're the mindset that, oh, yeah, I'm a gangster, It's all about thug life and criminal life. But you know what? You're the same motherfucker that the minute you leave and something happens to your family at home, you're whining like a bitch to the police. Why weren't they there and why didn't they do something? So don't tell me, like I said, Mad Max Thunderdome. No, I ain't here. I'm here right now in another spot, away from my wife and her mother, and I feel safe and sane about it. I don't have to be there all the time, booted and suited, because society's gone to shit and the fabric of society's been eroded by these creeps. I can let them sit there. I can come do this without worrying too much that they're going to be harmed by this society that people want to create. And the only thing I can assign to it is a Mad Max Thunderdome type trip, you know. And no, it's not going to happen in this country. We're not going to let it happen. Period. And I'm inspired, like I said, by seeing all the races that have stepped up now and they said, we're proud Americans. It's time for this shit to stop. And they're putting their foot down. Mexican, black, Asian. I'm seeing it all. Oh, and that inspires me. So, anyways, I touched down on that because people asked me to go ahead and touch down on what I thought about it. Well, those are my thoughts. That's what I believe, you know, and we'll see where that goes. We'll see if the Thunderdome wins out or if a clean capitalist fabric of society where everybody gets a chance wins out. I hope the later does, because I'm a proud American. Now, I'm going to go a little further here because now I'm going to switch gears. There's some things that are going on, and I've just applied for the license to do raffles with the state and the state lottery. So it's with the state commission and state lottery, and I should get that. I'm able to do 12 raffles a year for the nonprofit. And a friend of mine owns a car lot, has just donated a GMC or Chevy. It's a pickup square body, older one, like a 76 or something. Okay. I'm going to tear this thing down. I'm going to give it a Denali frame under it and everything. I'm going to tear it down to the frame and rebuild this thing all the way up. What I don't know. And then I'm going to raffle it off here, you know, and to you guys, the audience, and anybody else that wants to get the raffle tickets. That's down the line. So what I want to know though, and I want to present it to the people who watch this channel, because it's who I want to win it. That's who ultimately I hope does win it. Do you want it tore down and built back up as a four-wheel drive? And there'll be a few of those pictures flash on the screen. Or do you want it tore down and built back up as lowrider? There'll be some pictures on some ideas there too. And then what you do is go in the comment section when you're seeing this and you say lowrider, four-wheel drive. And I'm going to count those up in the comment section, and whoever wins, boom, that's what it's going to come out as. That's how it's going to be done. And I got a lot of people donating their time, and I'm going to get the motors donated. I'm going to get everything donated with it to the nonprofit. I'll raffle it off, and I'll be legally licensed to do that with the state. And it'll be legit because it'll be right here where nothing can go on out of line, because it'll be a draw, not of a name or anything. I'm going to pull numbers like the lottery does where the ball shoots up. Now I'm going to pull it in a way to where enough raffle tickets are sold that only those numbers get pulled. So there's always going to be a winner. Now, when I raffle off the truck after it's all done, I may have a second and a third prize. Idaho here, you're limited on the cash amount you can give out. So you're limited on $1,000. I may make the third prize $1,000 cash giveaway. And in the second prize, who knows? Maybe there'll be a motorcycle to raffle or something. I'm still working on that. But you vote on this car after you see these pictures and stuff, and you say lowrider, you say four-wheel drive. And then that's the way I'm going to go with it. However this vote gets answered and tallied up, that's the way I'm gonna tear it down and build it back up, you know. And okay, so there's this too. You can go to the community section that'll be created where you can go into the community section and you can cast your vote 4x4 lowrider, however you cast it. So you can do it both ways. Either way, you can do it in the comment, make a comment on it. We'll count those up, and you can do it in the community section as well. Okay, that way you don't have to go out. If you're in there and you just want to go into comments and do it, well, you do it that way, or you can go to the community section and do it that way. That's completely your choice, but that's the way we're going to do it. And that ought to be a good thing. And I still want Donnie, if you're out there, the kid that everybody knows who would bring Donnie on there that they stole his Nike Jordans. I want you to reach out to me or your mom to reach out to me because I got a new pair of Nike Jordans for you. Um, you should have those. They were donated to you, and these clowns stole them because that's the yo-yos they are, and a lot of people condone that. Talk about how good they are. I beg to differ. Maybe they're better people now. I doubt it. I've heard a lot of things, but I'm moving past Homie the Clown and Fire Marshal Bill, right? That team right there, because really they serve no purpose, and I hope they change. I hope they become better individuals because that was some low life shit. Taking a guy who's mentally ill, and challenged that way, and bringing him on a show and cartooning him and clowning and thinking that's a funny thing, and then stealing his Nikes as if that was cool. Low budget, low down, low life individuals in any event. And everybody knows who I'm talking about. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you're the kind of person that condones that kind of behavior, you don't need to follow this at all. You can get the hell out of ours. I'd rather not have you. All right. I just would rather not. And because, and who died and left me defender of the mentally ill? I appointed me that position. How about that? Yeah. And you don't have to like it. I said it, I meant it, and I'll represent it. You just won't step up to the plate, mister. Yeah, the creep that did it. Anyway, I don't want to get going on that stuff too much because I have a hard time quitting. Can't stand it. Yeah, so there's that, and that's coming up. And bringing back out. Hopefully, get the trailer back soon, and be back in the back. There's also some things coming up. Some things were said about this guy that's sentenced to death. I was going to do a live, but it's just too hard right now. But I'm going to have him call in right here on this kind of deal here. I'm going to let him address those things because I think he should have a right to address them. And that's just how I am. If I don't know one way or the other, and somebody says something foul and negative about somebody, and I can't say yay, I can't say nay because I don't know. I'm going to let that individual come on and give you guys the facts. And then guess what? You can take everything you've heard, you've read, what he said, and you can make your own decision, and without me swaying it because I don't have all the facts. So I'm going to bring this guy on, let him talk to you a bit about the one that cut that CO's throat in Calipat and then murdered the guy in Tehachapi and got sentenced to death for it. I'm also going to have a conversation. Somebody said death row doesn't exist, right? So I did a little research about that. And I came back and said, yeah, well, we all know death row doesn't exist, but the death penalty does. So you were wrong and I was wrong because there's a portion of those death row prisoners that have been moved down to the second floor of the hospital in San Quentin. And it is still a death row situation. It is death row. Those guys don't program, function, or do anything with anybody else, and they're all sentenced to death. So death row does still exist right there in that spot. In any event, so I thought I'd clear that up. And I'm going to bring Gangster back on, probably coming this next week. I'm also going to bring Jake back on, the SAC guy that was an ADX, and we'll check in on him too. Yeah, a lot of things up and coming. My car went down. I had just got it back from the shop today, the dealer, and then the travel trailer, the toy hauler. What happened was the fridge and freezer and all that went down. It hasn't really worked since I got it, and I'm wrapped up in some legal stuff with those people, and so it was bring it in and get it done now, or keep using my fridge as an ice chest. So I brought it in to get it done, and they're kind of sitting on it. So, and that's the studio. That's the way we like it. That's the traveling band. Oh, and another thing too is, okay, so I'm going to bring somebody on that breeds a breeder of Cane Corsos, which are dogs. The Cane Corsos are from Italy. People who know the breed, they're a really nice breed. They're a big dog. They can be vicious if not raised and trained right. And they're family oriented, and they are protection mode. They are protection dogs, and they work like that. So you might see on my website where it says Top Dogs Pets for Vets. All right. I bringing these dogs in. We're always getting rescued dogs, right? shepherds, collies, and stuff like that for these veterans that are in wheelchairs and mobility impaired, right? Um, I'm going to take some of these full bred blooded cane corsos, Cane corsos, and I'm going to send them into the prisons to be trained up for these mobility impaired veterans. And I'm going to get these guys dogs that can do everything that other dogs do, except for one thing. These dogs will protect those guys that can't protect themselves. And I'm also going to give them papers and papered up and everything else. So the woman I'm going to bring on, Angela Clark for Confidential Kennels. She's going to come on and talk about it, and she really knows her shit when it comes to these dogs. And she has known me for a very long time. And when I called her and said, "Hey, I have this male that's got 12 champions on one side and 12 champions on the other, a reverse black brindle, um, and he's papered up and championed up real good, and I need some females for a breeding program for this nonprofit and whatnot." She told me, "How many do you need? How many can get?" She said straight out, "As many as you want, Ronnie, as many as you want." And she's a top breeder. So I just told her right now that, you know what, I could use three. Um, I'm going to get three, and they're going to throw pups, and these pups usually sell for 3,500 each. But not only am I going to send the pups in with to be trained and everything for the mobility impaired and disabled vets, I'm also going to come on here and do a few auctions with some full bred pups, papers, everything comes with them for you guys in the audience. Um, granted, whoever wins the raffle on these pups, it's going to be looked at. I'm not going to let this. I'm going to let the pups go into a place where it looks like somebody's going to fight them or do stuff like that. So I will look into who wins these, and I will look into their situation. And hey, if you're set to have one and own one, and you're a good placement for the adoption, that dog's coming to you if you win the raffle. I go out there and I see that you're running a puppy mill and all that stuff, and you're fighting dogs or anything like that. I'm not going to give you this Cane Corso, but what I will do is come right back and re-raffle it until we find the right home. But and be a fair judge of everything. And I don't have to do this, but I like to see them go out to some people in the audience, right? I just want to bring different things to you. You know what I mean? I don't want to get on here and auction off or raffle off tennis shoes. You're allowed 12 raffles a year. And if I do 12 raffles a year, well, guess what? I want 12 good raffles for you guys, you know? So that's coming up too. And I'll show you pictures of the dogs, the ones I'm getting, the ones I got. I got a nice one, a really nice one. And so Confidential Kennels, I'm going to have her come on. And she does everything from pulling the mother's blood right before the litter comes, spinning the plasma from it. And then she takes the plasma and gets it to the pups when they're born. It's because not every pup always gets what they need from the mother's milk. It's a competition for them kids. Now, if you just got one or two dogs or something like that, you can pull some back and rotate them like my wife does and she's doing. But Confidential Kennels they're supposed to have 3-4 litters going at once, so they want to make sure all these dogs get the proper nutrition. It's a quality dog that will be coming on here for the auctions and or the raffles. I'm looking into auction law right now. So there's the truck, there's the dogs, and I'm just going to get creative and do different things, but they'll be good things when we get on here and do them. And I wanted to get on here and give you this right now, just this little thing right here to let you know that this is why we haven't dropped no interviews or content for the moment, but it is coming. As soon as they fix this trailer, we get set back up and we can get these interviews going. And maybe I come back tomorrow night or the night after and we leave stuff here and we get one going that way. But no matter what, the content will be coming. So thank you guys for listening. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit everything there. Hit all the good buttons. That's all. All right, guys. Bye.